I'm going to introduce Signe Fredrickson of the Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest. She's going to speak first on gift planning as well as the services they offer. Then, after her, I will give a brief overview of the St. Peter's Endowment Fund, and we should have time for questions at the end, though both of us will be available afterwards. And if anybody is missing what Grace is passing out, just raise your hand. Okay, Signe, take it away.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning. Great. All right. So y'all are my very first presentation as a gift planner. Yes. So hopefully that is good or that is bad. So you've got two things that they passed out, and the one sheet is an information sheet. If y'all, I do have pens up here. If y'all would go ahead and fill it out towards the end. This does not put you on the email list at all. You will not receive anything from the foundation other than a thank you for attending from me. Okay? So you don't have to worry about it. Oh, you want me to speak in the mic? Usually I have such a loud voice that no one wants me to speak in the mic. Okay. My name, again, is Signe Fredrickson. I'm with the Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest. So, because we are a church ministry, we will begin with the Psalm 24, 1 through 2. The earth is the Lord's and all that is in it, the world and those who live in it. For he has founded it on the seas and established it on the rivers. So, the Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest, our mission is to recognize, inspire, facilitate, and teach legacy stewardship. So how we work is we can help you plan your legacy for your family, your loved ones, ministries, and other nonprofits. Over your lifetime, your gifts of support to your church and your ministries have made a difference. Consider carrying out your generosity to those that you love and the ministries that count on your support. We tailor everything for an individual basis, and there's no agenda. So to meet with me, there's no obligation. And we don't sell anything. It can be updated at any time. We all change as our lives go on, and your assets, everything will change. And so it can be updated at any time. In fact, we will want to meet with you every 4 to 5 years once you establish your plan, just to check in with you and see how things are going. No funds move anywhere now. So nothing happens until your partner, your spouse, you die. So nothing happens right now. All planning is done in proportion. As we know, our assets change every day. In fact, this past year, I'm sure, like me, our assets went down. So we realize that it does change on a regular basis. So everything is done in proportion. A lot of people, when they think about legacy planning, they think about that it's for people who are wealthy, who have a lot of assets. It's really for anybody who is generous and wants to leave something to the ministries and their family that they care about. It matures after individual and both spouses are deceased. We are legacy gift planners. We do not replace your attorney or your CPA. Plans are done in a tax-wise. We can help figure out which of your assets are best left for your kids so that the tax implications are less. We do not receive any commission, extra compensation. We're not selling anything. We are a ministry of this synod. Who we are, for over 44 years, we were established to support Lutheran ministries. So over $18.3 million has been distributed to our sponsors over the years. In fact, this past year, $1.5 million was distributed to our sponsors, and over $6.9 million distributed to other ELCA ministries, congregations, colleges, and other nonprofits. This year alone, in 2022, this year, $1 million has been distributed. So you can see, if that's just 1 year, it does make a difference. $1 million is a lot of money. So why the foundation? We are able to help you benefit multiple ministries. We can show you how to match your assets to the most powerful plan, and we shepherd those plans to fruition, regardless of the time. So what can we do for you? Bequest. We do guided individual legacy planning. Bequest, and that is where you have left something in your will as well as a beneficiary. Endowments, we can help set up an endowment with you to where upon your passing and your spouse's passing that your church or any other ministries, even your kids, can receive a yearly plan or yearly gift. We do trust and a combination of all of them. So whatever works best for the individual. What are your interests? So what are your passions that God has laid on your heart? Is it a global ministry to help others? Is it ELCA World Hunger or Lutheran World Relief? A synod ministry to help your local region? A specific ministry that has helped you or your family? Let's say you've had to get support from the food bank, then that's definitely one that you could leave money to. A local congregation, your local congregation.
We tend to focus on, in the church, giving is the offering plate. Sometimes we don't realize the magnitude of opportunities to give in the church. Really what legacy giving is about is recognizing that your giving doesn't stop with the life that you've been given, because we're a resurrection people. And even in death, God finds a way to breathe new life.
If we are interested and willing to give of our gifts and our talents while we're here alive, why shouldn't we be thinking about giving a portion of our estate back to the ministry of the congregation and the ministry of the ELCA Church after we're no longer here?
Once we got out of seminary and we actually had full incomes and a house and all this stuff, we started thinking, okay, we should think about long-term planning, and especially once we had our son Joel.
So our biggest question was, how do we steward the abundance that God has given us?
Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest, in partnership with the ELCA Foundation, provides a broad range of investment opportunities and opportunities for people to identify missions that they would like for their endowment fund proceeds to go to.
I think it was relatively easy. John provided the paperwork, really what we could put our thoughts in, who or what do we want to give a legacy gift.
The Lutheran Foundation provided that vehicle to enable us to leave a legacy for our own children, but also for church and church-related bodies and other organizations that we feel we would like to support.
So I do a lot of volunteer work now that I'm retired. I started off working with Mecca, multicultural education and counseling through the arts. And so when I heard about Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest, I thought, oh, I can give a percentage of what I'm going to leave to my church and to other Lutheran organizations, but then I can give a percentage to Mecca without having to specify a dollar figure. That's very easy to do with the plan I picked at Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest.
It goes back to stewardship. It goes back to being grateful for what you've received and desiring to pay that forward. And this is a very simple and tangible process to help do that.
For anybody to think about, we're not going to be around forever. Our time, in this earth is limited, but our fingerprints are going to be there. And I think God's fingerprints are all over the place. And so being intentional about where God's fingerprints through you are going to shape this community, that's a spiritual discipline. And I think legacy giving is an avenue that we can tap into.
So what would be your next step is to prayerfully consider making a difference to your family and the ministry through your legacy plans. Schedule a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation appointment with me, not Deacon John. So I have not changed that. So yes, so you gather documents for the planning process, and that's something that I would go with you, through with you. So thank you all very much. Lynn has a couple of words she'd like to talk about.
Yeah, we'll open it up to questions in just a minute. Pastor right now is giving you one more piece of paper, and that is a brochure on gift planning as well as the endowment fund. But I wanted to provide a little more information about the endowment fund itself. It was established in 1993 with about $60,000. Its focus is purely on the church's mission. It's completely independent of the budget. Its funds are kept in separate investment accounts, so it's totally separate from the church's money. And it can accept money at any time, so we don't necessarily have to wait until we die. Since inception, the fund has grown and it has distributed over $155,000 to various local and global causes. And we still have about $215,000 left over. So from 60 to giving away 155 to having $215,000 left. The fund is run by a committee currently consisting of me, Coase Pyle, Dale Moquist, Pastor Vanacek, Council President Carol Jones, and Treasurer Lori Golden. If you would like to serve on the committee, which meets a few times a year, please let me know. If you have a background in financial services or investment knowledge, that's great, but it is not required. No experience is necessary to be on the committee. In fact, it can be a way to learn more about the investment world and see how that might intersect with your own life. Again, see me afterwards if you are interested or if you want more information about the endowment fund itself. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to any questions. Does anybody have a question for Signe?
Well, I live in Bandera, so face-to-face is great. I always prefer face-to-face, but if you want to do a telephone call and just get some more information, then I could certainly do that over the phone, and then we can meet face-to-face at some point or as Zoom as well. So what's ever convenient for you. So, and you have, I passed out my card. Yes. So please call or email me. Yep, that would be great.
I will say they do good work. So we did it with her predecessor, John Dellis, and he came to the house and we just had supper and he walked us through everything. They're great. It's easy. They kind of set it up, and like he hung out with the boys, the whole 9 yards. It was cool. So it's easy. They do good work, and I will say it does matter too. So I was on the board for Cross Trails, the Synod camp. Still on the finance committee there, and they get an endowment gift every year because they're one of the sponsors, and it's huge for the budget at Cross Trails. It makes a huge difference for the camp, so it does a lot of good.
Yes, in fact, we distributed over 100,000 this past year to Cross Trails. Yes, so your gifts do make a difference, just like they do in life. In your death as well, it can make a big difference. So thank you. I will let John know that. So yes. So for some of you who may not know, John is having extra duty. So he is now the director, okay? And so he oversees not only me, I know, right? He oversees my two colleagues, one in Houston and one in Dallas as well. So they brought me on board to help out. So I just started, so I'm excited to be here, so.
Any other questions for Signe? Are there any questions for me about the endowment fund? All right, well, thank you very much for your time.